pieces of the Southern California lifestyle. Surf, sand, and volley. All equal parts of learning to exist in the best climate in the entire nation. It is another beautiful mid-70s day. Here towards the end of summer, the 2024 Manhattan Beach Open rolls on from just south of the iconic Manhattan Beach Pier. A little more women's action happening now. Lexy Denaburg and Deahna Kraft taking on Ella Gray and Madison Shields. Continued rise of collegiate beach volleyball impacting the professional ranks. Welcome inside, everybody. Kevin Barnett alongside Olympic gold medalist Rich Lamborn as we get you started for more stadium court action. And Rich, interesting one here in the contenders bracket. So it's win or go home. You could be 1-2 barbecue, and that is it. Yeah. But both these teams have waited since before 11 a.m. for this now. Let me check my watch. 2 p.m. start. So how do you manage that time? How difficult of a ask is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough on a mental front and it's tough on a physical front, right? You got to get yourself in the right headspace because going uno dos in the granddaddy is not what you want to do. You don't want to have your tournament end rather on a Friday. But you got to make sure that you take care of business physically as well, get a little recovery in, and get ready to rock and roll in this one.
We are ready to rock and roll in this one, which means it's time for Mark Sherman and some player intros.
And here we go. It is time for our first contenders bracket match on Stadium Court. Win or go home. Nobody wants to go home. Nope. Nobody wants to go home. Let's meet these teams. Look at us stay alive. This first player out of El Dorado Hills, California, played her college ball indoor at Pepperdine, played a year of beach at Pepperdine. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it for Madison Shields. And her partner out of Redondo Beach, California. Look, here's the thing. She just turned 19 years old. And as I try to find more information on you, Ella, I get conflicting information online. So we're going to learn about you together. We'll have a chat. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it for the 19-year-old Ella Gray. And their opponents, this first placer, also played her college ball at Pepperdine University. Now here in Redondo Beach, originally out of Seattle, Washington. Give it up for Deahna Kraft. And her partner out of UCLA and the Mustang, go Mustangs, out of Merritt Island High School in Merritt Island, Florida. Let me hear it for Lexy Denaburg.
A regional matchup, Florida and Washington trying to assert their dominance over Southern California and their own sport. Denaburg and Kraft, winners in the first round over Charlie Ekstrom and Katie Lindstrom. It was 18 and 19 in quick fashion. Pardon me, losers in that match in quick fashion as we get underway here in this contenders bracket matchup. And that ball is wide from the 19-year-old Ella Gray, Redondo Beach Seahawk.
The local girl, you would think they're going to test her early, Kraft and Denaburg.
That ball knuckled short, smartly done. That is Deahna Kraft playing on the right-hand side, wearing the visor. 25 years old, out of Seattle, Washington. Time spent at Pepperdine as well as Wisconsin. And that ball will find the sand off the cable. Quick start. 3-0.
You talked about the difficulty of having to wait around and then playing an elimination match. It certainly helps if you can jump out to a quick start. Denaburg and Kraft certainly doing that here.
Nice read and turn, and then pokey with the left hand. Ella Gray displaying skills beyond her years.
And we talk about how much the exposure to coaching has impacted the game. A lot, I think, the use of both hands and just kind of the variety of shots and so forth that you see from players as young as 19, as we see the old school detonation from Lexy Denaburg. But yeah, just the right hand, left hand, pokies, all that kind of stuff. So fascinating and so much more used now that people are getting so many more reps by the time they're 19 years old.
And also the lack of rigidity nowadays. I don't know, Rich, how you felt as that ball is knifed inside the block. But there seemed to be kind of one way to do things 20 years ago. And now there's so much volleyball happening. There's more variety of how to attack the game. The game is evolving and being allowed to evolve, where I thought that the U.S. system for a long time was quite rigid.
Yeah, I wonder, I mean, maybe it's a semantics thing, but would we call that rigidity or maybe just an absence of creativity?
Well, there's no such thing as cold. Is that what you mean? Like there's only lack of heat?
So
is that where you're headed, science guy?
Semantics then.
5-2 side switch, Denaburg and Kraft.
Would describe my low back as lacking in creativity. It's not rigid.
Working on Gray and ripping through middle of the corner. Good shot.
High and deep corner, usually a pretty effective swing. Nice job from Gray.
That ball dug overhand.
Good night.
Opportunity at the net. No, not taken. Yes, converted.
I like the scrappiness, Shields and Gray, but right now the physicality of Kraft. Denaburg winning out. Both standing at 6 feet. That's a pretty big team on the women's side.
Just barely out of reach.
Yeah, it seems like it could be very physically imposing. Opportunity to split block.
Yeah.
Boy, Johnny rolling along the net. That's perfect.
Pretty precise there from Kraft on the right side. You can just peel it right off the top of the tape and down.
Glad you're with us here from Manhattan Beach, day one of what will be 3 days of coverage, concluding with the championship matches, semis, and finals to be played on Sunday in the shadow of the pier, just at the south side. Come on out and join us if you're in the Southern California area. If you can't join us now, join us in a couple of weeks in Chicago at Oak Street Beach. Beautiful downtown location and one of the other iconic places, and the AVP has visited over the years. And then we'll be on to league play, brand new for this year. An opportunity for you to extend your summer another 9 weeks into November. And we know the people in Chicago will be feeling it by November, so they'll be excited to see a little sun, a little sand, a little remembrance of what was.
Yeah, certainly if you are a beach volleyball fan, Chicago is a must-attend event. One of the great locations and just a great vibe for our tournaments out there every year. Some good serving has Gray and Shields back within one here, Kev.
Well, we were talking in our earlier match about getting back to some of the basics, right?
Absolutely. This skill always so important. Emphatic answer from Denaburg.
Well, Denaburg has gotten a hold of a couple early here.
She doesn't leave too much in the chamber. She gets her money's worth on those swings.
Line over.
That ball goes long.
The 11-8, that ball's just long.
That set didn't quite get out as wide as Gray was hoping it would, I think.
Line over was the call. How about just a swing right through the block, and another point registered for Gray and Shields.
And there's some of that creativity we were alluding to, right? A little tempo on that set. Pick up the pace of the offense a little bit.
Oh. That ball buried down the line.
Down the line, Kraft, Denaburg up by 3, 12-9.
Bludgeoning from both sides for Denaburg Kraft.
And a very quick first set to get to the technical timeout.
And we haven't seen too many defensive points, have we? Pretty good side out numbers for both teams.
Once again, if you haven't tried locomotion, you got to check them out. Vodka, carbonated water, natural flavor, only 78 calories. This is the locomotion.
Technical timeout. This is the second of our heritage events. If you were with us for Huntington Beach in early May, that was an excellent event at the beginning of the summer. Now we're getting towards the end. If you're on that school schedule, be headed into Labor Day, as mentioned, in Chicago, August 30th through September 1st, and then it'll be on to league play, September 14-15, beginning in Los Angeles. Of course, we have venue and ticketing options coming up for you. An announcement next week. Look forward to that. Start to plan where you want to join us for the endless summer, all the way into November 9-10, when that'll be the championship. After 8 weeks of regular season play, we will be on to the first ever AVP League titles to be awarded. It's going to be team play, one male, one female team, each in the city. And of course, if you win a heritage event, as the Taylors already have, they have qualified, and then you'll have points across those heritage events, of course, here and in Chicago. And if you get in the league, you're guaranteed of those reps all the way through the fall, as well as player, the opportunity to earn money and glory. Prestige. Which would you want, Rich? Prestige or glory? Ace serve there. A little bit of glory had. 13-9.
Yeah, I'm not even sure how I would characterize the difference between those. One is more of kind of a prestige, more of a present tense kind of a thing, and glory lives on.
Okay.
Right on the line. Beautiful swing.
You didn't know there's no songs about a blaze of prestige?
Johnny B.
Denaburg with the reception. Joust at the net, one. Ella Gray at 5'11", playing bigger.
Yeah, that was a nice job just staying home by Gray and taking care of the overset.
Well, starting with the tough serve on Lexy Denaburg, the one-time UCLA star, play all the way to graduate year. Better pass this time. And cut for the winner.
And those smooth shots set up by the big bombs we've seen from her earlier in this first set.
You're seeing the effects of collegiate beach volleyball here in this match and throughout the women's field. There's a nice little pace to the outside. And for diversity of offense, the winner.
Yeah, I like that move from Denaburg, though. Actually, she just kind of realizes that she isn't there. That's a tactical pull. And she doesn't get fooled necessarily. She's just trying to drop back and pick up the shot should it come.
Shields guesses line, and that ball is put directly to the corner by Deahna Kraft. It's going to continue to be interesting to see where young women choose to go when you're playing collegiately, or pardon me, playing in high school and you're choosing where to play collegiately. Which do you play? Do you go take your talents to the beach, or do you stay indoors? And what combination thereof, as we've seen so many women get graduate degrees while playing beach volleyball as well, continuing to be a part of a sports program as well as a new university and another educational experience.
I suppose my speculative answer would be it depends on what your future in the indoor game looks like. Meaning if you've got a potentially good international career indoors, I would think that that skews you towards that part of the game.
That's a tiny fraction of people.
Agreed. Agreed. I don't think it applies to a lot of people, but, you know, I mean, even, I don't know, Taryn Cloth would be an example in opposition to what I just said, because she probably had a legit indoor career should she have wanted it.
Sure, played at Creighton, could definitely have gone pro. That tough serve finds the mark. Winner for Denaburg. 18-12, control here for Denaburg and Kraft early on in this elimination match.
Yeah, because it represents such a small number of people playing indoor, I think there's probably quite a few that skew Beach, at least towards the latter part of their collegiate careers. Oh.
And that ball is blocked. Looks like it might have been in the cable. A lot of pressure being applied. Denaburg and Kraft now 2 away from a first set victory. And so much more opportunity coming around. The number of programs being added each year and the need for athletes where no recruiting has been done. Grab maybe a star from an indoor side that's finishing up with a senior season. Tough serve up to the net, and that'll be another winner, 20-12.
Awesome. Great serving from Denaburg. Kraft, a little bit of a serve receive breakdown from Shields and Gray, and a bunch of set points.
Well, you squeeze them together and then pull them apart. Excellent serving from the side of Denaburg and Kraft, moving Gray and Shields around and moving the score to 21-12 in the first set.
Described the same way I eat a grilled cheese sandwich. I just mush it together and then.
Do you smash your Oreo first too before you spin it, or what are you doing there,
I just
KGB?
go straight spin. Yeah. I listen to it, spin it off.
So first set victory. See if we can get some sound from inside the player boxes here. One of the things we're going to bring you from these heritage events.
First of all, what's your name? David. David and Drew. All right, Drew, you're going to be with Colby. David, you're with me. Come on over here. Now, first things first. David and Drew, let's put those lovely...
Largest fields of the season, 32 team fields for the Manhattan Beach Open on the men's and the women's side. So many outer courts, lots of outer court action taking place. Pretty decent crowd for a work day at 220 here in Southern California tomorrow. It is going to be packed out there, especially some of those late day matches that are occurring outside of stadium. You're going to see people 15 deep. Cheers for local players and excitement surrounding top shelf plays.
Yeah, this is such a great venue because you get so many of the players that live locally, so they've got friends and family in attendance, but it's also a very knowledgeable crowd, of course, so they just love and respect and expect high-level volleyball out there.
And on stadium court, when it's in between sets, you can experience the blind cat hunt. Not sure that's the official name that Mark Sherman has applied to it, but there's been a lot of weirdo Amazon orders happening in preparation for Manhattan Beach as well as Chicago. We'll see what else they've come up with. Haven't seen musical chairs yet.
These are strawberry vodka tonics, I think.
Look at the stats in set one. Serving playing a pretty big role.
Indeed. If you can hang 4 aces and only have 2 errors, that's great. And not only that, but hit 647 along with it. I mean, 312 is still a respectable number, but when it's outkicked by more than double, hard to win.
So a lot more digs there too. What about Gray and Shields? How do you get yourself back on track when you've lost those categories as securely as you have?
Yeah, it's interesting, and you tell me what you think, because you were also a guy who was in serve receive a lot.
Once upon a time.
You understand that you need to receive serve well. When another team is serving great, it's not like you're out there trying to pass the ball poorly. So is it just kind of a resolution you make within yourself to lock in, or what do you do?
I think lock in is kind of a general term. What I would always fall back on is, okay, what are my cues? Whether it was receiving or service, because you control every part of service yourself.
Sure.
I would fall back on cues that would kind of get me back on track. What's the one thing I can think about right before this skill occurs that's going to help me?
Okay.
So later on for me, it was about set the angle. Old Carl McGowan thing, right? Set the angle. So I'd be trying to be very calm with my platform and set an angle. Wherever the ball went, I wanted to set an angle that would be on my side, not over. And start there. Start with some reasonable plays before worrying about some great plays. That was an outstanding dig. Can they pick up another? There's another good read. High line, long. Ooh, tough way to finish for Madison Shields.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. A couple great defensive efforts. Yeah, I like that, though, to just go back to what you were saying. Narrow your focus is a way that I used to sort of verbalize it with Jake and Taylor. You know, just whether it's the cue or whether it's, you know, I want to focus on just this pass and then we can worry about just this set and whatever. Just kind of like minimize what we're thinking about so we don't get too out in front of ourselves, right?
Yeah, especially when your opponent's putting all kinds of pressure on you and making plays on their side. You can become scatterbrained about it and start worrying about 3 or 4 different things, and you have a limited ability to process information. Mark Dunphy thing. He's asking you to count the number of push-ups you're doing while remembering a sequence of numbers. You can't do that, so you need to reduce it down to one thing. Right now it would be reception for Gray and Shields. Instead, that ball is long and they're off the hook, so an opportunity to score. 3-2, second set.
Yeah, kind of the other byproduct maybe of narrowing your focus or just kind of focusing on one thing, like Marv would say, is you can't get too wrapped up in the circumstance. Well, that was way out, was it not?
That ball is called in. It was so fast we couldn't quite see it.
Okay.
The referees did not see it either, taking a moment to get it right.
Not much argument from Shields and Gray, so.
No.
Ooh.
And you're going to get a call there.
Yeah, that's a tight call. Yeah, but you know, you got to remind yourself you can't get it all back in one fell swoop, right? So you just got to keep chipping away. Another great Carl McGowanism is you don't chop a tree down with one mighty blow, right? It takes lots of good swings to just keep chipping away at that big trunk.
Depends on who you are, Carl.
Yeah. I guess Paul Bunyan, not a BYU Cougar.
Not sure what school he went to. He may have gone from high school to the pros.
Wherever it was, they were the Blue Oxen, were they not?
Had to be. All right, so back to serve, the 19-year-old Ella Gray. Redondo Beach native playing in front of some hometown fans. That ball's going to be tipped over, picked up by her partner. Shields trying to convert. Another dig, another chance. Nobody up. You have to put more on it than that. That battle won by Ella Gray. 5-4. A steady beginning to set 2.
Yeah, great scrappy effort defensively from Shields and Gray. And that certainly seems to be their style, right? So that's maybe one path back in. Not a lot you can do about that one. Just detonation again from Denaburg.
Yeah, Denaburg has shown her offensive chops in this one. The first time you've watched her play. She is not afraid to get after the ball.
Line! Yes!
Ella Gray, 5-6.
Nobody up, point scored, and they stay within 1.
And that's a nice swing from Gray as well. We say it a lot, right, Kevin? There's no tentative path to victory.
You can't chip, roll, and tip your way to a win.
Right!
That ball dug out long.
Just out of bounds, long, 7-5.
Deahna Kraft, short serve.
Line over!
And that ball middle roll.
I like the confidence from Shields and Gray. I mean, going to your knees to hand set that ball. Really spectacular. Shows immense confidence in your abilities.
Still working on Kraft. That ball way too far outside.
First hit the antenna, though.
Yeah.
Wait a second, what's that about this one?
And the
I wasn't
question,
sure if that hit the block first or the antenna first. I thought it hit the block first, quite frankly.
trying to cut it back in. It looks like that's the way it was called. We're going to have a little conference words. Let's listen in.
I saw it hit the first.
Okay.
So once
What do you
again,
see?
the issue is
I saw it the
that
other way, but I think that's what you
first.
saw.
You saw it hit the block and go,
I thought I saw the block in the end.
and then we're going this way here. Yeah. Okay.
So
That was
whoever
it.
touched it last. Well, see, now it's confusing because they already switched sides. Who's pointing?
Their point.
Does it say?
Okay, as called, we're going to stay there. Good audio, good work by our crew, getting in with Ted Grissom and Dwayne Holden.
It went off the block.
That's interesting because, I mean, you like the collaboration from our referees, right? Absolutely. But it's interesting that he deferred to his down ref who was further away from the play on that.
Well, sometimes those plays that occur right in front of you as an official are tough to see, and that ball is wide. No confusion there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, too. He's got a little bit more of a zoomed out viewpoint on it from the down ref position.
Yeah, I think things that happen fast right in front of that R1 position, the up ref, very difficult to see. Oh, got the block the next time. So Lexy Denaburg picks up the stuff there, the all Pac-12 performer.
Yeah, and that's good work from Kraft and Denaburg, and a little bit of a bummer for Shields and Gray, right? That call goes against them, and then they drop 2 real points right on top of it. Kind of widen the lead for Denaburg and Kraft. Some future stars out there peppering around.
Yeah, Guy Fieri's child, apparently. Didn't know that Guy was that into volleyball. Good to see his kids out here.
They'll no doubt be hitting a diner, a dive, or a drive-through.
They'll be at the Kettle after this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they
thinking
are
about
very
Manhattan
good.
Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good scene out here. Access to the athletes, opportunity for you to interact with the best professionals in the game. And yeah, back to your job there, boys. Your future may be on stadium court. All right, 10-6. We'll see who's eating at the Kettle this afternoon. That is the local 3 a.m. place. It's a 24-hour restaurant located just up the way here, about 2 blocks away from our location at Stadium Court. If you ever find yourself in Manhattan and it's after hours and you want to get some steak fries, that would be the place. Nice stab. And your reward is a little bit more pressure from Deahna Kraft and her partner, Lexy Denaburg.
And Gray and Shields doing a really nice job of extending these rallies, but unable to come up with the victory in most of them, unfortunately.
Well, I haven't seen a lot of big swings. Shields has picked up some balls, but you have to get a good cut, and there's a better one offside out. That would be my analysis as a coach. Be like, hey, in transition, you got to get on that ball. You got to get yourself in a position to get on that ball a little harder.
Yeah, she is on the shorter side, right? So you would have to think that sort of hitting window is a little bit smaller. Let's see if we can get something hittable here.
Well, that's where Kristen Nuss really excels. To get the most out of being 5'6", it's her gather and then the punch on the ball, and by, I think, velocity or aggression on the ball. It's not always you're going to hit the ball hard like we've seen Denaburg do a number of times here on the other side, but it's about deliberate placement.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, Kristen Nuss is kind of in a league of her own as far as shot placement. She has all the shots and the ability to locate them anywhere from anywhere, I would say. But you also have to credit the part of that equation, which is the transition setting of Taryn Cloth, right?
Sure.
I mean, that's a skill that I think oftentimes doesn't get enough attention in its importance.
All right, well, Rich Lamborn will be here all weekend trying to bring attention to transition setting. I'm Kevin Barnett. Cameron Irwin is along the way. We're here with you for 3 days. Concluding with our championship on Sunday. Men's and women's 2024 Manhattan Beach Open Heritage Event champions going to be crowned. You get a plaque on the pier. So we've reached 13-8 once again here in our technical timeout. Crowd enjoying a Friday afternoon, just getting started an entire weekend of volleyball. We'll be with you on Bally Live. If you're watching now, feel free to tune in today and tomorrow. We're going to conclude on Ion on Sunday with our semis and our championship matches. We will have Bally Live coverage for those semis, and we'll have Ion for the finals. Looking forward to the live presentation and the crowning of another Manhattan Beach Open champion, men's and women's. That ball is missed and is now 14-8. Gray and Shields in danger of losing touch as they did in the first.
Yeah, credit Denaburg and Kraft for doing a nice job of maintaining their pressure on their opponents. Sometimes you get a big lead and it's kind of easy to take your foot off the throttle a little bit, but they're not doing that.
No, that pedals to the floor. SWAT City there. Denaburg and Kraft. Kraft, an interesting story, played 4 years of beach and then went and played a year of indoor. That's kind of the reverse of what we've seen in a lot of programs. Played at Wisconsin for her last year. And that ball will find its way into the crowd and back again.
You would think that would be much more difficult of a transition, too. I would anyway. Didn't mean to tell you what you would think, Kevin.
Just let it go. Off into the ether. Another dig. Can she get a swing? Yes. A little bit of a gator. Chicken wing and down. Count the points. Gray and Shields.
10-15.
Yeah, it worked out in the end, but that's kind of what you were saying, right? That we want to see out of Shields is a little more firepower in transition.
Denaburg to the corner, dug up and put over. Is that open hand? Yes, it is. And that's going to be called.
Oh, that's interesting.
I didn't see a pokey.
Yeah, it looked like her hand was wide open, but it did pop off the hand pretty quickly.
You got to go pure Cobra for that, though, I would think, right?
Yeah, I don't think you can have your fingers separated, certainly.
Line.
Over on two. Denaburg into that deep corner, dug up, but not controlled from Shields.
Yeah, testament to the firepower, because Shields is making some good reads in some good positions, but just getting overpowered by the cannon of Denaburg.
Line angle, the Langle call on display. 17-11, control here for Denaburg and Kraft. Looks like it's going to be 1-2 barbecue for Gray and Shields, but definitely better for the experience of being in the main draw. Got a lot of volleyball this weekend. Did Gray and Shields. Came through the qualifier. You have to win 3 to get in. They did it all in straight sets. That ball will be called, so there's another point. Yeah, this was a convincing performance by Ella Gray and Madison Shields in the qualifier. They allowed just 19 points twice and limited their opponents to 12 and 13 in a couple of sets. That one chipped off the block for the point.
That was pretty snazzy. I think Denaburg waited until the last possible second to decide she was going to whip the hands out. Did so nicely.
That's one thing that's come around in College Beach recently is more women using their hands. There's a lot of bump setting at the start.
Oh, without a doubt. To me, that's the biggest change.
Okay.
Because you used to almost never see, like, it was shocking if you saw a woman hand setting, right? Like we had so much great stuff to say about Larissa, for example, because she was such a proficient hand setter, and it was such an anomaly during the majority of her career. But you know, with the advent of coaching or the proliferation of coaching and so forth, you just realize that your ability to locate, your ability to run some variety in offenses is so heightened if you can hand set the ball. And so take these kids, start training them at a young age, because it's really, I mean, everyone's got the ability to do it. It's just a confidence and a repetition thing, I think. And so getting those repetitions, building that confidence has really led to that being just a ubiquitous skill in the women's game.
Nice easy chip shot there, and nothing left to do but put the cherry on the sundae here. Set and match ball. A little bit of mistiming for the finish. That one popped back over. Denaburg will take a cut. No left hand to finish.
Not done yet. 14-20. Another match point for Denaburg and Kraft.
Match point once again. Kraft receives down the middle. She'll go to the left and put that one away.
Great sets, Lexy.
So with that,
Denaburg and Kraft moving on in the Contenders.
It was the early decision to leave the wide open net for
the Contenders brackets. Manhattan Beach, let me get a round of applause for all four players.
Gray and Shields finished their event, but they played 5 matches, winning 3 coming through the qualifier and on into the main draw. So a successful 2024 for them. We will see more of Lexy Denaburg and Deahna Kraft as this tournament rolls on. More volleyball from Stadium Court coming up on Valley Live shortly.